Community Business Hour, 90.1 FM.
It's time to talk business, specifically community business on Community Business Hour with the You Can Do It team. Every Tuesday at noon, business-minded folks join the conversation with insight and information on how they took on the sometimes overwhelming challenges of business. Each contributing voice is a firm believer in helping you become a stronger social economic contributor. Here on Community Business Hour, we know the right information can change your life. Community Business Hour is for anyone wanting to be around local business-minded people. Whether you're starting or growing a business, running a nonprofit, or seeking employment, the You Can Do It team is on air and online for you. Phone lines are open, 713-526-8737. And you can connect with us across the social media spectrum at CB Hour. Now let's talk some business. All right, and welcome to Community Business Hour here on 90.1 KPFT HD3 Pacifica Station. So it's your moment. It's your time to shine. Many of you have received and accepted the invitation to come online or come on air and be part of the show. That's why I named this show Community Business Hour, to give the community that likes business a chance to speak. So again, the rules of the game, because I saw on Meetup a few people were like, hey, where's the station? And well, here's kind of one of those things. No one just allows a bunch of people to bum rush a station. It's just how things play out. So the way we'll do this from now on, the order in which you RSVP'd, then that's how we'll select you based on your content. So I want you to be on the show. I want you to have your shot to shine, but we got to have some type of process and procedure in place, because when we first put it up, it was like crickets, like crick, crick, crick. No one responded. Then after a few people jumped on air and you saw the videos and you thought to yourself, this is my chance. And now we're getting just bombarded. So with that said, again, if you're signing up through the Meetup group, RSVP, click, got it. Inbox me what you want to talk about. Good. You got that part? And then wait to be scheduled. We'll schedule you in. Like, we have a really small studio, but we're adding more microphones. So because this is a roundtable open affair where you can just come in and lend something to the business community, there's no rules. This isn't about me getting on here and talking and running my mouth. This is about, business owners having a chance to just get on air without the whole pay to play and without all the other hype that's involved in that type of that. So with that said, it was a busy week because I was sick and it was spring break. So that just made it incredible. So for all of you that are still under the weather, whether it be allergies or whatever, I hope you're better. Any of you that were infected with the flu, I hope you're better. I hope the kids are back to school and living well. As you know, there's a lot of world events that are going on right now that are, it's on a whole nother level. But you have to stay mindful of the fact that business, commerce, feeding the need, helping people do better, still must go on. So in studio today, I have three individuals that one I just met, Crystal Shockley. She's with us. Did I pronounce that right? Cool. And Dale is with me. He's like one of my hero kind of guys. He's been my instructor. I think we've been co-workers, and I've just always kept him on my LinkedIn page because I knew one day I'd want this gentleman to come back and share some information, because especially when I was in one of his classes, I don't meet too many business people that I can actually say, wow, like, you're cool. I really don't. No offense to you that I've met, and I doubt I said, wow, you're cool. But the point is, he brings a lot of information. He brings a lot of knowledge. He brings a lot of wisdom. And most importantly, he has insight. So whenever he wants to join, he's always welcome, because it allows me to sit back and learn a little. Brandy's here as well, making sure that I'm alive and on air. Don't need cough drops or anything today, so that, I'm feeling kind of good inside. But with that said, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to meet with Crystal and Dale, and we're going to just start talking. Phone lines are open at 713-526-8737. You're listening to Community Business Hour here on 90.1 KPFT HD3.
Hello, I'm Sally Tyler, Executive Director of Executive Service Corps of Houston, or ESH. ESH is a nonprofit business management firm that gives other nonprofits affordable tools with which to succeed. With over 25 years of nonprofit experience, mostly in development and public relations, I, along with seasoned consultants and board, help nonprofits achieve their missions more efficiently and effectively. For example, if you keep receipts in a shoebox or you're still tracking your donor gifts in Excel, our group can suggest more proficient ways that could move you forward. Nonprofits may not even recognize that they need help, and often they misidentify their needs. So when organizations come in to learn strategic planning, they may discover that there's a lack of resources or they have underutilized staff. Some of our partners include the Houston Food Bank, the Houston Arboretum and Nature Center, ISDs, and small agencies, multicultural centers. We truly understand their needs because we're a nonprofit too. We utilize business professionals, both currently employed and retired, with years of experience, many from Fortune 500 companies. And now, some nonprofit professionals too, both development and marketing pros who can help your organizations with strategic and development planning, marketing, accounting, human resources, and policy issues. ESH helps nonprofits excel. It's not sexy work, but it is necessary. Organizations have great missions, but may not be able to communicate their messages effectively. They may not have thought through their long-term plans, yet both are vital to achieving funding and rallying support for their organization. Everything from finding qualified staff to locating the best office space, and most importantly, achieving their mission, hinges on these issues. ESH can help. Please help us help organizations around Houston do the great work they need to do. We need you to do that. Thank you.
How long have you been sitting behind that same desk dreaming of your own business? You believe in your ideas, but is it achievable? Can you really make it happen? Where do you start? Maybe you need a mentor, someone with experience that could give you sound advice. But business advisors, they're expensive. Did you know that you could get expert, sage advice from professionals for free? With SCORE, you're not alone. You have access to an entire team of professionals with expertise in marketing, sales, finance, and more. SCORE has one goal in mind: to turn your business dream into a reality. SCORE will put your idea to the test, examining it from many angles, verifying the numbers, and helping you choose the best way to make it happen. And we don't just send you on your way. We're with you all the way. As a new entrepreneur, you'll have many questions. How do you write a business plan? How can you get funding? What type of company do you want to create? SCORE will be at your side, giving you sage advice and all the support you need to get your new business venture to take flight. But you're not on your own just yet. After your business is up and running and the sales are starting to pick up, you'll want to know how to expand your company. SCORE is still with you. SCORE will teach you how to use online marketing and social media to grow your business. SCORE's team of mentors guides you every step of the way and will be your sounding board to help you make the best business decisions. Anytime you need us. Anywhere. Well, almost anywhere. SCORE. Sage advice for dreamers, entrepreneurs, and small business owners. We're dreaming of your success.
Welcome back to Community Business Hour. You're on 90.1 KPFT HD3. All right. And welcome back to Community Business Hour. Your host here, Jonyprofit. In studio with me, I have some super all-stars. I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves, and then we're going to get the lunch roundtable started. So ladies first. Crystal, you can go ahead.
Hello, my name is Crystal Shockley. She organizes Houston. It's a home and office company, home and office organizing company.
So what do you do? What kind of home? How do you organize? Like, you pick up the space, or do you like just tell them what to do, or what do you do exactly?
I go in as hands-on. I go in and I organize something as small as a coat closet to something as large as a 2-car garage.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All right. How long have you been doing that?
Almost a year.
And how did you hear about the show?
Through Meetup.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
You're feeling it. You saw it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, Dale.
I am Dale Konicek. I have been an educator for over 30 years, taught the subject of entrepreneurship and management classes. I also own a wealth management practice for the last 24 years. Currently, I am considered to be a philanthropist and an educator.
Okay. All right. So the reason I asked you to come on is for you two to share with us some insight, tips, some experiences, things that you feel can help a small business owner, help an entrepreneur, help somebody that's employed, help somebody that's a nonprofit, really help anybody that's in the economic sphere, per se. So again, I'll go back to you, Crystal, and you can kick us off.
Okay. I feel that it's very important to have people surrounding you that are like-minded. This journey here for myself with the organizing business is definitely a faith walk.
Okay.
I'm depending on God for everything to lead me through this entire business. And I have a couple of people in my life who believe the same way. They encourage me and they walk with me. So they're dreaming with me and going through the dream with me, meaning they support my business as I work for them because they believe in me that much and they want to support me that much. And they refer other people to me.
Yeah.
And it's very important because if you have someone in your life who's close to you that's not believing in your dreams, it can crush your dreams. You don't need people that's going to discourage you. You need encouragement that helps you grow.
Has that happened to you? Have you been crushed?
Not crushed, but I've received discouragement because everyone doesn't believe that they believe in what they see, not in what can happen through faith.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so what tools or techniques did you use over time to kind of work through that or even work past certain people or include certain people?
I stopped discussing certain things with those people who didn't have my best interest in mind or in their heart. So I just steer clear of those conversations with them. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll go to you, Dale, for a moment. So you've been my instructor and I loved it. The thing that stood out the most was you had mentioned hay. I don't know if we could mention at one point, but you had mentioned hay in our conversation. I was like, wow, you used to do that? That's incredible.
I did. I cut hay. I was a weekend farmer.
Amazing.
I learned really quickly what I didn't want to do in retirement.
So you kind of split the hair between a city slicker and a
yeah, out there in that tractor was really great for about a year or two.
Wow. Yeah. That was part of my childhood. We walked beans and we detasseled corn. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was just life. You were in a tractor for, 2 months straight, just every day, all day. But what are some tips or insight or what would you like to share today?
John, I'm real big on behavior. And one of the things that I do or I have done in my classes, I've taught entrepreneurship classes, boot camps, is this idea of transitioning. The idea that you've been working for someone for a long time, you've gotten used to the 8 to 5 grind, you've had a human resource department to go to, you get lunch hour, you get vacation, by the way. All those things that you get that you take for granted, and it actually shapes behavior. So now suddenly one day you decide, I'm going to start my own business. Right. And that's great, wonderful. But there's this transition that takes place that a lot of people I don't think give enough time to. They don't understand that behavior that we're talking about took place over the years. It's going to take a while to unravel that behavior. The expectations, that's how people fail. They just have unrealistic expectations. They think they can walk in and be an entrepreneur because someone told me I could.
Right.
Yeah, someone told me I could. And we want to be positive, we want to be positive. Well, my thing about doing workshops in a 3-state area on this subject is, look, if I told someone that, talking to them and say, maybe you should go find yourself a job, I've done the person a service. Rather than them spending $25,000 out of their retirement account and they go and, oh man, look at me, my first day at my launch and 6 months later they're out of business and they're crying the blues. So, I see a lot of it. I've been through it, and I think that it's that behavioral shift that is a very big challenge for some people when they find out that they're not going to get paid in 2 weeks, they're not going to have vacation time.
Right.
The idea that all small business people are somehow on the golf course, I still haven't got that one. Yeah. There's just so many things that just don't, that are hearsay, right, or that are sensationalism about being self-employed. Now, would I trade my self-employment self for going back to my 8 to 5 existence? Absolutely not.
Wow. Now Brandy's over there laughing because I speak along those same lines quite often, where I've actually told people, like, keep your day job, get some experience. You know, with 10 years at SCORE, I've heard pretty much everything. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the things, you know, one of the stories that a lot of the members in the organization use here at the SCORE, the Houston chapter, is a gentleman came in, he wanted to start his own business, so he bought a dry cleaning business. No research, he just heard it was going to work. Everybody told him it was great. The guy gets in there and finds out he's allergic to the chemicals used to clean the clothes. Mm-hmm. So imagine how that played out. And it's one of those things where I try to encourage people to understand from where I'm sitting, you can think like an employee, you can think like a manager, you can think like an owner. Mm-hmm. And there are just three different mindsets, but most of what you see out there is how to be a manager / it just, yeah.
You know, one of the big differences in the scenario that you just presented, that there's one big difference. When you're a manager and you're in charge of a division and you have all this budget and everything, remember that budget didn't come out of your personal account.
Yeah.
So that's what's different about being an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, it comes out of my account, my salary.
Right.
I have to make payroll before I get paid. All of those things that a small business person will tell you.
Yeah.
You know about some of the experiences they have. Oh, I didn't get paid this week because I just barely made payroll. Then you're starting to understand and have more of an appreciation for those who are successful, who have really made it work for them.
Absolutely.
And that's just those hard knocks. Going through those.
Yeah, Crystal, jump back in anytime, because I want to know, okay, so if I were to make the transition and I needed someone to help me organize, what areas would you feel like you could best serve a small business owner and entrepreneur? Like, I just left my oil and gas job, okay, and I'm really not even sure what type of business I want to start. Could you help me in that situation? And I'm very unorganized, by the way.
You're very unorganized. Well, we want to get order in your life first.
Okay.
And you're meaning like your office?
Everything.
Okay. Well, we want to start at home first.
I have 20 kids, too.
Okay. Oh, we're definitely going to start at home first.
I don't have 20 kids. Go ahead.
We're going to tackle your garage, because when you go into the home, you need space to place other items. So we're going to tackle your garage to get that into order. And then we're going to go through your house room by room that's most important to you and start to organize and store things, give things away. Trash things, just to start getting order in your home, and then we go to tackle your office. Am I answering what you're asking?
You are, because I've seen some of your tips. Because one thing that had happened to me this morning, like after all the sickness and all the spring break, I don't work well in clutter. Mm-hmm. I don't. And so, from the home office and office standpoint, there was just a major move to the trash can this morning. Just decluttering. But for a lot of people, decluttering is very difficult for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Whether it's friends, your space, your environment, your computer, your file cabinets, everything.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, this is kind of off the subject a bit, but I do that.
Yeah, no problem here.
I guess it's a senior moment, right? But the thing of it is that you have in your hands a profession that, when we start talking about marketing, we start talking about what market do you serve? Who is your customer? It always comes up in entrepreneurship. And that is sometimes very difficult for people to answer because they don't know who all their customers are. But let's look at application. And one thing I could offer to you today, maybe you could offer something to me, is that think about all these people, and I work with them. And I've been doing blueprinting for a long time. I've written articles on it. Blueprinting is exactly what you're doing. We have people who are going to retire. They don't know how much space they're going to need. They don't know how much, where they're going to live. They have all this clutter in their home, and they need to get rid of it so that their kids don't have to fool with it, because their kids aren't interested in their junk. So they have to declutter, okay? And I work with a lot of people in decluttering, trying to blueprint, as we call it, blueprint their homes to find out what kind of square footage could you actually live in, because that's what you're going to buy when you go to the limited assisted nursing home or an apartment. You're living in 3,000 square feet, but half the space is empty. Yeah. So, what really is the number? And that's the only way we can get to it is through a blueprinting process.
I love it.
And that is, gearing down. So you're not going to need to talk. I'm going to exchange some clients with you.
Oh, yes. That was
See that?
very nice.
We already made some progress.
There we go. And that's the point of the show. That really is the point of the show. That's why I was happy to have you on. If I were to ask one thing, what do you feel your business needs most, Crystal?
What do I feel?
Yeah.
Well, right now, clients.
Yeah?
Yes, clients.
What kind of clients? Because they're listening right now.
Okay.
You can't tell them to come to you, but just give an idea of what you're looking for.
Well, all type of clients that need any type of assistance, whether it's just a pot closet, not closet, but cabinet, like where you keep your cookware or your pantry or your closets, your living space, any area of your home. And, I found that, with organizing, you clean also. Yeah. You decorate also, so you're an interior decorator, because all these things come to mind and they come to play when you're, organizing for someone. So that's what I would need right now. The most would be clients.
Can we case study with you? Can we case study right now with you?
Yes.
Can we counsel and advise with you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I can go counsel. I can't use that word, but yes, I can advise. Yes.
Okay. So, one of the things that I notice a lot, okay, and this is kind of the executive entrepreneur part of this, what kind of funds and makes all this possible. We're big on finding markets based on income, like based on one thing I've noticed with small business owners, especially right now with the oil and gas situation. Many are still focused on the west side of Houston as that money dries up, as the revenue of these big companies kind of shrink, regardless of where oil prices are. When on the other side at the port and at the factory side, where we're processing these chemicals, it's growing exponentially. And so I always challenge entrepreneurs to track and follow the money. Look where the money's going, and you have a better chance, because, if your clients don't have any money, it doesn't matter how many times you tweet, doesn't matter how many business cards you hand out. It doesn't matter. You cannot social media SEO your way into people's pocketbooks. They don't have money.
One thing I was thinking about that I wanted to share with you today, I think you'd have an appreciation for, is when we talk about a person starting a business and what reality are they looking at? What markets are they looking at? Where am I going to place this product or service? And one thing I have noticed that has been prevalent is that there are businesses out there that have no intention of having a pool of customers. Their intention is to link with a provider that's already there to be a value-added link to what's already there.
Right.
They have no intentions of ever having any clients other than just finding one to buy what they're developing. Yeah. And so I think that some people, it seems to me, in the IT, especially in the IT area, to not think so much of, I'm going to be like a retail person.
Right.
No, what you're going to be is you're going to look for people who can take your idea and plug it into something that they're already doing to provide a value added. They pay you $10 million and you go away.
Exactly.
And so much of that is happening. And so I think that for entrepreneurs, to widen the look, to widen, their eyes a bit, you don't necessarily have to have widgets to sell, products to sell, numbers and shelves and inventory. And you could have the idea and the conceptual framework, and you can sell it, and you can have no employees or very few employees, very few overhead, and that seems to be very attractive to those who don't want to put a lot of capital and investment in.
I love it. Crystal, back to you.
Yes.
Give me something.
Well, actually, I will go back on what you asked. That is something that I definitely need. Marketing. I don't know what my target area would be. I just know I want to provide this service. Yeah. And I don't know where to specifically concentrate, but I know that this is something I want to do. I want to give exceptional customer service to my clients. And if I could, I would do this at no charge, but I can't, but I love it this much. This is a passion of mine. So that's definitely what I am seeking guidance in that area. So
is this a full-time operation for you now?
Yes.
Okay. I'll throw it to you, Dale.
What's that? You want me to?
Yeah.
Guidance.
No, I when she said that, I said, oh my gosh, there's so many people that just can't get off the mark. They can't get started with their decluttering, and it's so necessary. I work in estate planning, as you know, and I see at the death of someone, and I see the mess that people have to clean up, their kids have to clean up, and conversations and things. So, but on the other end of this, I'm talking about estate planning, but on the other end, look, I'm with you. I don't like clutter. clutter. Okay, clutter is clutter.
Right.
And you have to. So if you can get someone, and there are people who need help with this. If you can get your life uncluttered, then what are you going to do at the time that you were spending, going through your clutter? And it just opens up your life. It really does.
Yep.
And I know that's hard for the type Bs to do. I'm a type A personality, so it's very easy for me to do. But for the type Bs and so forth, it's very difficult. So get some help.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We've always said that. Look, if you can't do this, get some help.
Exactly.
As an entrepreneur, you can't do everything. Get some help.
Right.
Spread out instead of contracting.
Right.
And so your service is very valuable in the estate planning area because there's so many people. I've had some experience too. Just to kind of throw one more in there.
Mm-hmm.
Hoarders.
Oh yeah.
I've had experience with hoarders.
Wow.
And when you see it, it is the almost unbelievable thing to see. I mean, I don't know how it gets that way, but then you have to understand this person has an illness.
Yes.
It's not anything to laugh at, although but you're really, when you seriously start to understand that these individuals need some help, and then what are their families going to do when they have to walk into that place and try to make some sense of it?
Yeah,
So
you're absolutely right. I forgot where I was going to go with it, so I'm going to throw it back to you, Crystal. Go ahead. You're about to say something.
Yeah, it's very interesting what you said about the estate planning area of it, because that is definitely something I thought about, because it's a difficult time when someone leaves you, and then it's something you keep putting off. Like my mom went home October 7th of 2014, and we still haven't gone through her things, and it's at my sister's house, which is unfair to her because she wants to go through it, but it's just like something you kind of don't want to tackle. You put it off. It's not important. But
and this is why I tell people do it ahead of time before you die.
I agree. I agree.
You're getting to your 50s, your 60s. Let's go ahead and take care of this now, because you're going to start looking for housing. You're going to have to do it sometime or other, and if you never are able to do it, it's like this big weight that you carry around.
Yes.
And then they get in their 70s, and then they get into their 80s, and they can't. Now they can't help themselves, and it just festers.
So at this point, are you a solo entrepreneur?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. I mean, that means a lot of hats you have to wear, right?
Yes.
Okay. Website and things like that, how are you going about taking care of that?
I don't have a website as of right now. I'm trying to utilize the social media, the things that don't cost right now while I build the company.
Okay.
And word of mouth and.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, and this was another thing I wanted to bring up too, is don't forget, there are people out there, no kidding, they're actually using sites, these funding venture capital sites, and to get enough money to go to school for tuition. Well, I mean, they've carried it that far. Now, I know, is that right? There's no right or wrong about it. If someone's going to give you money, well, I mean, what's right or wrong about it? But your business and how you might, couch the business, how you might present it, you might find that there's some people who would like to help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Some people who might want to throw in a couple of dollars to help you, get established. And certainly there's going to be the presentation, and the presentation has to be crisp and sharp and to the point. But I would, Kickstarter, Indiegogo. I mean, whoever might provide. You'd be surprised. And I've been really surprised that some people have carried it far enough to, they get money for just about. I had a friend that her son was going to go to Harvard for the summer. She didn't have the money to send him. What did she do? She got online and said that my son is going to go to Harvard, for the summer program, and he was a violinist and a very talented boy, but I don't have the money to send him. Could you help me?
Wow.
It wasn't long. The money started pouring in.
Yeah.
It's amazing. People are amazing.
So with that, I want to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue discussion with Dale and Brandy. I'm going to bring you in, and Crystal. So you're listening to Community Business Hour here on 90.1 KPFT. 90.1. I said that 3 times now. Here we go.
Looking to grow your existing business? America's SBDC Network can help. America's SBDC Network no-cost growth acceleration services provide in-depth consulting to assess your financials, optimize performance, uncover new opportunities, and accelerate business growth. Ready to grow? Visit us online or contact your local office to get started on your path to success today.
Hello, I'm Sally Tyler, Executive Director of Executive Service Corps of Houston, or ESH. ESH is a nonprofit business management firm that gives other nonprofits affordable tools with which to succeed. With over 25 years of nonprofit experience, mostly in development and public relations, I, along with seasoned consultants and board, help nonprofits achieve their missions more efficiently and effectively. For example, if you keep receipts in a shoebox or you're still tracking your donor gifts in Excel, our group can suggest more proficient ways that could move you forward. Nonprofits may not even recognize that they need help, and often they misidentify their needs. So when organizations come in to learn strategic planning, they may discover that there's a lack of resources or they have underutilized staff. Some of our partners include the Houston Food Bank, the Houston Arboretum and Nature Center, ISDs, and small agencies, multicultural centers. We truly understand their needs because we're a nonprofit too. We utilize business professionals, both currently employed and retired, with years of experience, many from Fortune 500 companies. And now, some nonprofit professionals too, both development and marketing pros who can help your organizations with strategic and development planning, marketing, accounting, human resources, and policy issues. ESH helps nonprofits excel. It's not sexy work, but it is necessary. Organizations have great missions, but may not be able to communicate their messages effectively. They may not have thought through their long-term plans, yet both are vital to achieving funding and rallying support for their organization. Everything from finding qualified staff to locating the best office space, and most importantly, achieving their mission, hinges on these issues. ESH can help. Please help us help organizations around Houston do the great work they need to do. We need you to do that. Thank you.
Welcome back to Community Business Hours. You're on 90.1 KPFT HD3. All right, welcome back. Community Business Hour. Dale, Brandy, can I hear you? Hold on, let's make sure I can hear you. Let's make sure I can hear you. Say
right.
something. You're
Can
in.
y'all hear me?
Yep.
Great.
All right, so now we have 4 people in studio with microphones. It's going to get crazy in here. So while we're on break, I stepped out of the room and you all came up with some secret conversations you want to come back and talk about. So what were they?
The challenges of the business that I'm in, organizing, home and office organizing. It's you have to be very structured yourself, and you have to stick to what you start off with, an agreement. An agreement, to have a client sign an agreement is very important because it demonstrates commitments, and you have them pay. It's important to have them pay a portion that's non-refundable because they're going to commit to that. A lot of people don't want to just give money and not have the services provided. And after working and not sticking to my guns, I see the importance of having that form filled out and signed.
So you've gotten burned a few times?
No, not burned, but the situation is, to me, not better once I've come on board. And my goal is to make things better for you, not to put more things out of order in your normal working space. Yeah. So I've learned the importance of definitely sticking to what you start off with, because it's a reason. You have to have people commit because there's a reason why we choose to have things out of order. And with that commitment comes, they have to definitely pay the money, as I said earlier, and more than likely they're going to pursue and continue on. And I'm helping them more so than just putting them back to where in the place where they were prior to.
Gotcha. Okay, so you'd mentioned sustainability when I walked back in. What was that about?
You get started. You get a nice idea. People have a nice run on sales, revenues, and all of a sudden things die out.
Yep.
And how do you revive that process? You have the business cycle to think about, whatever your business cycle is. And so I think that, one of the challenges for a business owner is sustainability is keeping the business alive, keeping it fresh, keeping it relevant to the markets. And that takes a lot of work.
It does.
More work, I think, than what most individuals might think, because you're constantly having to think about, what am I doing today that's right? What am I not doing? Or what have I found out today that I need to address. You constantly are challenging yourself. And, some folks have asked me, well, don't you ever stop and, just savor the moment? Yeah, between 5 and 6 in the morning. You don't
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're constantly, there's competition. There's
Exactly.
constantly people out there that want to take your place. So, not that you're paranoid about it, but I would say that you have to constantly be thinking marketing. You're a marketing machine, right. and because you are, and if you're not, hire somebody who is.
And I enjoy sports, regardless of what sport you play, because it's kind of an analogy where you realize, not that it's finite, the scarcity thing when it comes to the market, but in a lot of ways it is. We're all kind of chasing or hunting down the same resources, and so realizing, like you said, if you don't get up this morning and hunt, somebody's going to take your food. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't know, Brandy?
Yeah, I think it's important what you're saying, and you hit, like with the word you said, with being relevant. I mean, that's key, because if you keep your head down, just thinking, if I'm just good at what I do, you're going to see things pass you by. You see technology and things becoming digital, things that people never thought would be incorporated into the business space now, to where, some people laughed back in the day when grocery stores, you started be able to do self-checkout and scanning, but you never know where it's going to come into play. So you have to continue to learn. You can even learn from your peers and competitors, because you have to stay abreast of all that in order to stay in the game. And if you want to keep something for generational, because that's what a lot of people talk about. John, you've talked about like people leaving a legacy. You have to stay relevant and realize where you need to expand, broaden, tighten up with what you're doing.
I can tell you, like, learning-wise, I think I spend more time learning than anything else. I mean, but I apply it, and usually it's in, like a friend of mine who's really trying to get through a project management exam. I don't believe it's in their heart, and trying to learn things that's not you is very, very challenging. But I'm huge on everything from the text to speech. I'll download the PDF book, and I'll listen to it while I'm cleaning or in the car. I'm huge on multitasking, watching videos, the lynda.coms, all this stuff, because all that information are basically new tools for me. Mm-hmm. And in different situations, I get to pull these tools out of the toolbox and at least attempt, or apply them. So I don't know, like for Crystal, where do you go to pick up new information and new tool sets?
To the computer.
Yeah?
Yes, I'll go to Google and do perform searches.
Yeah.
Yeah, specific.
I've seen your post on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm, yes.
I see a lot of tips on there.
Yes. Yeah, I try to do that. I was doing that daily. I have to get back to that to try to keep the audience engaged.
Right.
And to assist people in any way possible. If I can't come to you and reach you personally, physically, well, at least I can give you some information on the internet to help you. Yeah.
And going back to when you were talking about sustainability, so in a lot of the programs that I work with, that is the major issue. When the water was rising, all the boats were kind of floating up with the tide and everything was great. And then as it started to settle, and that's where you see the issues.
Yeah, and in the if we were talking about an introduction to entrepreneurship class or something like that, we'd be talking about differentiation.
Yeah,
that we're constantly differentiating ourselves. What makes you different? Why should I do business with you? Kind of questions. And so that's a time to shine. Is why should I do business with you? That's right. A differentiation question. So you have to constantly be reinventing, or at least keep continuing to fill that space as far as why you're different, or why you offer something different than the rest of everybody else in your field.
Yeah.
And that takes energy. It takes time to continue to reinvent yourself. Really.
It does. Brandy?
When you talk about differentiation, I think about I heard somebody on there's another radio show, and they're talking about how to consolidate their businesses, because they have one business that provides a product, but then another piece is a service. So we're talking about combining. They couldn't figure out, but it made me think of with partnering, because another way to differentiate yourself may be, I can get it to you faster, or I'm local, because that's a big thing. Even if you look at like the grocery market, like who's local, how can we get stuff sooner, fresher, things like that. And you never realize, you're thinking, well, I'm focused on this product or this industry, but not realizing where you can partner and grow at the same time.
That brings up something that I think about, is that I could say to someone, because it sounds cool, I can get it to you faster.
Yeah.
But if I can't get it to you faster, or if I fall down getting it to you faster, then I should have never gone there in the first place. So I think it takes a lot of, when you say something, anything that you're going to say, you better make sure.
Yeah, your word.
So you got to have to do all the work to make sure that you know you can get there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I think a lot of folks, they're getting scared. You know, the sales are down. And I gotta do something. I gotta do something, and they'll say anything just to get a sale, and they don't understand that has, you know. There's a little stamp in the customer's head. Oh, and now he or she starts telling everybody else about you, and now you fall apart.
Yes,
you got to really think about it. You know, any product launch or any service launch that you make, you better be able to back it up.
And having a growth plan with that too, because like you said, if that word of mouth, like you were saying, also that you depend on that. Once you grow, you know, how do you sustain once you've grown versus having to shut down? Because, you know, personally, our family has experienced stuff at least over probably 15, 20 years ago, to where we grew too fast in another state. So it wasn't that we weren't making the money. It's just that, you know, we started, expanded, and oh gosh, they really need this. And, you know, we had to take a back seat and pull back because we weren't prepared for that growth. So it was a hard lesson, but, you know, we were able to adjust and, you know, still move on past it. But when you're in the middle of it, you're just thinking, gosh, I wish I had done this X months ago or over a year ago.
And that's a real good point that you make, is because, you know, just because you're in business for yourself, you know, the idea of that sometimes you're going to make some mistakes. You know, who doesn't? You know, if you don't make any mistakes, I mean, you obviously are not doing much.
Yeah.
Because, you know, who says that you're supposed to know it all? Yeah. I made my mistakes. I could talk about all of them.
Yeah, I have plenty. You know, and part of the rhetoric that I think is damaging to small business owners, entrepreneurs, and most people is this concept of fake it till you make it versus just scale back and do it right, work with what you have. And so often I'll see people, that's what they will do. They will fake their income. They will fake their status. They will fake everything about it, thinking like that's going to attract and maintain a client. And what happens is they get ahead of, you know, they get behind. Yeah. You know, they bite off more than they can chew, especially in the government contracting sector. You know, where they'll say, make your capabilities statement, let's see what you can do. And they've checked everything on there. They can do everything. You know, they have a million different hats they wear, and they swear they're specialists, and they're the best, and they're the fastest, and all that, and reality hits.
And this is good for those in your audience who are out looking for work.
Yes.
Okay, they're out looking for work. They want to work for someone else, a big company, you know, and, how do I put my resume together? You know, what should I put on my resume? And, gee, I've heard this thing where people have several different resumes, because in bundling your sets, you know, bundling your skill sets for particular areas, are you going to cut some of the things off that you can do? Yeah, because that's not part of that skill set.
Right.
And some folks have a little difficult time because they want everybody to know everything about them. And in their interviews, give me an hour, you know. And again, it's that marketing, learning how to take a piece of your skill set, because you know that's what the employer is looking for or needing, because you did some homework, and now you're going to sell that piece, and you're ready for the others, but you're concentrating on what the employer, you know, you're trying to fit that key into that slot where the employer says, yes, this is a fit.
Yep.
And so it really applies to people looking for work.
Go ahead.
Yes, I had to do that too with the scaling back, because initially I was marketing myself as a professional organizer, a cleaner, a housekeeper, cleaner, and also as an interior decorator. And I said, wait a minute, this is too much. You know, I want to focus. Where are you really good, Crystal? What are you really good at? Okay, what are you really passionate about? The organizing. The cleaning comes along with it, and decorating comes along with it, but I don't have to market myself as such, because I need to focus and stick with this right here and let this do what it's going to do as far as the organizing. So that's what I had to do in the beginning. And then also I had to take a loss financially when I chose to. Someone actually, they told me to do what they wanted me to do, but I thought, okay, well, I'm, you know, the professional, and I know how to do this way. And had I just listened to the way they told me, I want you to move this first, then things wouldn't have been, you know, as they were. So I had to say, okay, well, I'm going to give you a full day where I can get this back into order. So with all that being said, it's good to, you know what you're doing, but listen to the person when they tell you how they want you to do something versus doing it how you want to do it, shall I say. Do what they ask of you to do first, then advise your input.
So the concept, what you're working with here, is it something you had just seen, or you kept hearing people say to you, hey, I need this? Or how did you come up with the business model of what you're doing now?
I started with friends and family just because I love doing it. It was for no pay at all. I was just doing it, and I didn't think of it as a business. And I said, wait a minute, I really like doing this, because I would go into areas like, oh my goodness, this would look so nice if I could do this to it. I would, and it's like, okay, oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, I can make money doing this. Okay, I love it. I can make money doing this. This is a win-win. Yeah. And I decided, okay, well, and I was led, okay, this is something and it's a service, that I can provide to people. People are very happy after you organize for them. They can see how things look now, how they were when they first moved into a certain place. So, that's.
So let me ask you this, Dale. Okay, so in my imagination, my favorite two people are my CPA and my attorney. Like all the rest of the folks I can procure on Fiverr, or I could send out some type of RFP or RFQ. The reason it's like that now is like if I don't have something to protect, intellectual property or something, or trade secret, then there's really nothing for me to sell. I'm just a commodity. There's no specialty there. And then the last thing is I love hanging around my financial people, because they tell me what things really cost and what's realistic compared to other industries and things like that. So I don't know what's your take, but like I am constantly running around telling people, like, before anyone gets into the mix or starts taking my money, before I'm making money, I spend quite a bit of time with someone who's going to help me protect the concept and someone who's going to help me monetize it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're asking who do I embrace?
Yeah, who do you embrace?
Yeah. Well,
because you kind of got both those locked up.
Well, the attorney and the accountant. Those are interesting people.
Yes.
And remember, they work for me.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. They work for me. The most interesting people, I got to tell you, are my clients.
Yeah.
I listen to them because they constantly come up with things that give me ideas about how I might be of better service to them.
Nice.
And so I hang out with them a little bit, and when I hang out, then I get to have a multi-generational opportunity, meaning I can meet their kids, because when they die, where is their money going to go, and who's going to manage it?
Exactly.
And so many of us in the industry are missing that opportunity because the millenniums are hard to talk to. They're not as easy to talk to as baby boomers are. So you have to shift gears, and a lot of people are having a difficult time in the financial services industry and shifting gears because they just can't understand these millenniums. They're just different people. You know? And so it's a great opportunity for younger people to serve millenniums. And the same hand, unfortunately, there's a shortage of people actually going into the industry to service millenniums. So
and that industry specifically would be
financial services.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
we're going through a very, very tough time.
Wow.
The new DOL rule is absolutely a game changer. And when I say it's a game changer, it's not for the better.
Okay.
The middle guy, the person who has a little bit of money, is not going to get the help that they need, and they're the ones who need the help. They're not going to get it because of the way the system's going. They're not going to get that help. I think that the banks are behind us, and it's some of their work, their special interest groups, because that will be the only place that these individuals will be able to go to as banks.
And so
for
you mentioned
financial
DOL,
services. Yeah.
just so they
Department of Labor.
Right.
Yeah, the fiduciary rule. Everybody thinks, it's the invest people's money in their best interest versus the current rule of suitability. So that may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but when you're in the industry, what does that exactly mean in your best interest? And I know I'm not trying to cut hairs here, but actually in the business, it's no one really knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if no one really knows, those same people that you spoke about, the attorneys, are waiting, because this is going to be a very, very big market for them. So if you're an attorney out there, I'm just giving you an insight.
A new lead.
Yeah, a new lead, because they're going to make a bunch of money because they're not going to have to prove much.
Interesting.
Seriously. So they're really handcuffing a lot of the industry through that rule, and it sounds good, but it's just not going to have much teeth.
And I think with this being an election year, that goes back to the importance of everyone understanding what the rules and regulations and laws really mean in their life.
Yeah, the challenges that we're facing now, see this industry, and now all of a sudden, boom, you have this challenge. And if you're in the retirement business where you're doing a lot of retirement accounts, you're going to get affected by this. So this is one example of how regulatory can affect your business.
Yeah.
Just out of the clear blue, the Congress decides, or the president decides, or the Department of Labor decides, and all of a sudden you're stuck with a new set of rules, and you've been used to operating under the old set of rules. Now you have to shift, and there's a cost to that. There's a time where you have to learn. And now, how do I reshape myself to incorporate it into what I do, my repertoire of things I do, in processing people's needs, and
ignoring it will not make it go away.
It's not going to go away, and that's just one example. Certainly, every business. Look at fracking. Look what happened there. I mean, people were fracking. Look at wastewater. They were making money on wastewater. They were drilling wells, and oh man, this is great. When oil was over $50 a barrel, wastewater was also it was 10 barrels of wastewater for every barrel of oil. So they were in Oklahoma. They were throwing wastewater into these wells, and all of a sudden, they had a little seismic activity, and all of a sudden then the oil came down, and all of a sudden now wastewater companies are going out of business, and the fracking companies are going out of business because there's not, and so that happened just quickly.
Yes,
very quickly. Who would have thought that we'd have had any difficulty in selling the idea of exporting our energy and making trillions of dollars and paying our debt off? Gee, that's just a far out idea, but it's actually possible. You talk to the people in the energy industry. Yeah, if we had like natural gas, there's a lot of countries that want it. There's a lot of countries that want our coal, but because of coal dust, there are states that don't want the coal coming through their state because they're going to ruin their crops. We got so many challenges to that industry. You just imagine that you started out doing fracking, or you started out with wastewater, and all of a sudden in 6 months you're out of business. These are the kind of challenges that no matter what business you're in. Look at the food business. Restaurant business. There's another one. You're famous one day, you're not anything the next.
Chipotle here today.
Chipotle,
on the way out on the next.
And they can't figure out where where all this stuff is happening. And it's just, it goes on and on. It shouldn't discourage people from going into business, but understand that you have a lot on your shoulders. No matter what you do, there's always going to be something to challenge you and challenge your business down the road. It's not going to be, put her in drive, and, all the way out to 65 and I retire. I got the $1 million, the $1 million account, and I'm in the Bermudas, or whatever. It's just going to be a lot of bumps, and that I think is a sign of a good business person who can go through the bumps. Who know how to survive, and aren't looking for a whole lot of credit for it, because it's just part of the, that's part of the game. It's part of what we get up every day. When you're winning, like when in baseball, when you're winning, it's great. Football, you're winning the game, hey, it's great. But when it's the fourth quarter and you're losing, and you got to do something different, you got to come up with a different game plan. That's what it's all about. That's what I love about entrepreneurship, is that I'm in control. I can put my game plan in mind, and if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. And there's no politics, there's no administrator, there's no manager, there's no company that's going to say, well, I decided to put you over here in the corner. So for you people who are not entrepreneurs, or if you're entrepreneurs right now, that's the thing, is that I can get up every day and it's my game plan. It's what I'm going to do from 6 o'clock to whenever. When I get up in the morning, what am I going to do first? I decide. But when you decide, you also decide what the paycheck's going to look like, or what your revenue looks like.
That's very true.
So what comes with that flexibility, you also have the other side of it, and hopefully those two match up well.
I love it. I try to. One of the things I share with people quite often is size and scale of your business. And I try to help people understand. I think of it in terms of flying airplanes, all right? And I like to fly, so a lot of people need to fly paper airplanes first. Just grab it, learn the concept, throw it, whatever. Then move up to a kite maybe, and then get a hot air balloon, or like a helium balloon from the store. Before you start thinking in terms of, I want a 747 or a private twin jet. Because most of the stuff that I hear from small business owners, you're thinking way out there, like, I'm going to be the next Google. I'm like, can we just start with a kite? Can we just learn the Brunelli's principle here? Can we start here? but it's very hard to overcome because people want to reach for the stars and hope to grab the clouds versus like, how about we just take the first rung on the ladder and then grab the next one and grab the next one. And it's something from an advisor or a counselor or even investor. It's hard to get people to understand like small is really good. Small and steady really does win. The tortoise and the hare, you know, I don't know, Brandy, any of you, your take on it, but I get a lot of big dreamers and a big...
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I mean, we don't want to knock the people because it's good for you to have dreams and stuff. But people, I think, sometimes see the end product and may not realize or even see, you know, the burning the candle at both ends and waking up early, staying up late, you know, what you've given up for that time period to know that in the end, you know, I have X, Y, Z and that freedom, financial freedom, whatever you want to call it. And I can agree. I think with some people, they need to realize, one, you know, what your talents are and where you can add value. And, you know, just because there's a TV show or something about it, or they're placing people, like literally they're placing people into an environment and it's still scripted. So sometimes we get too caught up in what we see, you know, in this reality type thing. And, yeah, I mean, and you have to plan, you have to write it down and scale it and have the advisors like Dale and John and other people, you know, people that have done it before. That's the best thing. They can tell you can learn from their mistakes, you know, and that was always my thing because, you know, if it looks too easy, I'm skeptical. But, you know, if it was easy, everybody wouldn't do it, you know. So you have to learn and figure out, you know, as you go sometimes and hopefully not hit your head on the wall too many times.
We were, you know, it kind of reminds me of what you and I were talking about out in the lobby. We were talking about money, you know, and we're talking about, you know, people who win the lottery and what their mindset is. And I was going through all of that with the folks out in the lobby. It was kind of entertaining before I got in here. And, you know, the question being, you know, how many people have $1 million or more dollars, you know, $1 million in the bank or more? You know, how many people are there actually? And looking at the scale of millionaires from 1 to 10 million, after 10 million, you're in la la land. You know, you're a rounding error.
Yeah.
You know, when you know, so that's the reality. It kind of reminds me, it's the reality of you know, what people see. It's not, you know, and they want to be something, or they want to be something that they really can't be, or it's just not realistic. But that's what they have in their mind. You know, from however they picked it up. Dangerous stuff, because you know, to try to get out of that mindset and say, you know, it's okay to be small. Right. You know, it's okay just to have $1 million.
It's
yeah. When someone says to me, you know, hey, how am I doing? And they're worth over $1 million, say, hey, you know, you've got more money than 95% of Americans. How's that? Yeah. Does that make you feel good? You know, and it's so you know, it's that kind of thing. Using. See there, and there it is. Because I study 2 to 3 hours every day. I have my research, I read my journals, I dig in every usually 2 or 3 hours a day. You come up with little things to help people understand, you know, analogies, and you have to keep looking for little things, and it's just little things sometimes that turns the key for a revenue enhancement, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely one of the things that I think, like, I'll attend events just to see, like, public sentiment. Where's the mindset of the next generation small business entrepreneur? And, again, I can say I'm slightly discouraged because, again, it's all about the fluff. When business is really, to me, like fitness. It's like health and fitness. It's like, it's pretty simple. You do certain things happen. Cause, effect. But they don't want to hear that. You know, and, you know, they'd rather give, you know, $3,000 to go sit in an all-day training and be motivated than have sat down and just, you know, got a business, grabbed hold of someone like yourself and said, hey, here's what I want to do. I have $3,000. Where should I place it? What's the smartest move for my current situation? So, I don't know. Crystal, what are you thinking?
My thoughts are back on when you all were speaking about starting small. Yeah. And I think about restaurants, how we have I think one is called Mickey's. I don't know how small they are, but when you stay small, sometimes things are better. Things taste better because when you try to grow and expand certain things, first it depends on what field you're in, you lose. You lose what you started off with, like, you know, the home cooking. I just really appreciate the small restaurants that stay as they are, because you get that authentic home cooked taste, and they don't have to commercialize and make it huge and add this, that, and the other. And there's something else I want to touch on about the joy of having your own business. You do get to touch the people personally, and no one can tell me whether I can do an overnighter to clean someone's home or not, or to organize for someone, or if I can go, I can go 3 a.m, or there's no limit to where you can't cook for them if they need you to cook or something. Yes, I can, because it's your own business. You can do whatever you want to do for that person to service them. And that's what I really appreciate about being an entrepreneur.
So where do you see this in like 5 years, you and your business?
I see it growing. I don't know yet if I'm ready or if I will be ready at that moment to have more people working for me, because it's difficult to pass along. Well, I won't say it's difficult. It's challenging to pass along your beliefs, your morals, and things that you do the way that you do them, because you don't want to mess up your business's name. So within 5 years, I see it as being a successful business, possibly just still myself, organizing, and I see myself have helped a lot of people to where they won't need my services anymore, because that's my goal, to come to you one time or however many times it is to get all of this done, and then you're on your own from there, because you can handle it, you're confident enough, you're encouraged, and you have changed to start organizing for yourself. So
I love it. Well, there you have it. Without a doubt, we've just consumed an hour of our time. I want to thank you for having lunch with us. We're right up on the hour, and I want to thank Dale. I want to thank Crystal, and I want to thank my dear friend Brandy for coming out with me. Go to SoundCloud when we're done, eehour.com. You can always find us at cbhour.com as well for more information. Until next week, have a great and wonderful and prosperous time.